The idea of core memories was invented by Inside Out, and how they work in the movie isn't based in any real neuroscience or mental health. Inside Out 2 hits theaters this weekend, so here are some things you never knew about the original. The idea for Inside Out came from director Pete Docter, after he noticed his daughter becoming more quiet and reserved as she got older, and that got him wondering what was going on inside her head. The movie was greenlit in 2009 and took 5.5 years to make it to the screen. The first thing Docter did was invite Finding Nemo and Up story supervisor Ronnie Del Carmen to come on as co-director. For accuracy, Del Carmen and Docter were advised by a number of psychologists and neuroscientists, including Dr. Paul Ekman and University of California professor Dacher Keltner. 27 different emotions were considered for an early version of the film, including irritation, envy, greed, gloom, despair, depression, love, schadenfreude, ennui, shame, embarrassment, and hope. But the number was brought down to 5 for simplicity. Some of those cut emotions, though, specifically ennui, envy, and embarrassment, were brought back for Inside Out 2. It was Ekman who suggested fear, anger, sadness, disgust, contempt, surprise, and happiness. Docter cut surprise because it was a little too close to fear, and then changed happiness to joy. Inside Out was the first Pixar movie made without any input from Steve Jobs, who founded the company. He died in 2011. With the premise and characters in place, Docter and Del Carmen started writing and storyboarding the movie. Pixar made sure that half of the story team on Inside Out were women, at a time when the animation industry was very male-heavy. Docter once said that he considered Riley not a main character, but the setting for the movie, and he rejected an early idea of her falling into a deep depression. The storyboarding for the movie took 2 to 3 years, leading to 7 different iterations of the film. Each one of those iterations led to an assembled storyboard, which was presented to the Pixar Brain Trust, the creative leaders at the company. There were a number of drop storylines and plot elements, including one of Riley losing out the role of a turkey in a Thanksgiving pageant. Another one had Bing Bong recruiting a bunch of forgotten figures from Riley's childhood, cut visits to Riley's actual brain, as well as something called idea fields. Another version of the movie had Joy going on the adventure with fear rather than sadness. In 2011, Walt Disney's daughter, Diane Disney Miller, convinced Docter to reduce the number of distractions in the story and reprioritize its goals. Docter then introduced the concept of personality islands, and the movie went into production in 2012. The movie's cast was assembled in August of 2013, and Del Carmen and Docter specifically looked for performers whose personas matched the emotions. Phyllis Smith was the first emotion cast, and got the role of sadness off her performance in Bad Teacher. Richard Kind was Docter's first choice for Bing Bong, and he modeled his performance on John Candy. Because the cast had some SNL veterans, Pixar animators went and visited the show to inform the scene in which a TV studio is creating Riley's dreams. The design and camera style for all of the interior worlds were influenced by a number of things, including 1950s Broadway musicals, Golden Age Hollywood, DNA strands, and neuronal flashes. One early design for sadness had her in pajamas. Disgust was inspired by April Ludgate from Parks and Rec, while Anger's look was actually influenced from another Disney movie, Hades in Hercules. To differentiate Joy from Tinkerbell, she was given blue hair. 400 artists, animators, and technicians worked on the movie, which took 1.5 years to animate. 3 seconds of footage took 3 weeks and 33 hours to render. The process of making Joy herself took 3 years, 8 months of which were spent on her aura. Production finally concluded in May of 2015, and the movie came in with a budget of $175 million. Marketing for the movie was considered a challenge, and one journalist even said that Pixar was absolutely screwed in trying to get people to come see it. Richard Kind didn't do any press for the movie as they wanted to keep Bing Bong a secret. The movie premiered at the Cannes Film Festival in May of 2015 before hitting theaters on June 19th, 9 years ago this week. It grossed $90.4 million opening weekend at the domestic box office, but that meant that it would be Pixar's first movie to ever debut at number 2 because it opened opposite Jurassic World, which made $106.6 million. Inside Out ended up taking $858 million total at the global box office, which meant it was 7th place in 2015. According to Deadline, Inside Out made an estimated profit of $279.51 million, and it is universally loved by critics and audiences. Like all Pixar movies, this movie includes an Easter egg for the next Pixar movie, The Good Dinosaur. It won the Oscar for Best Animated Feature, and it was nominated for Best Original Screenplay. And oh yeah, to circle back to core memories, scientists agree that memories give us a sense of self, who we think we are, but don't actually impact or change our personalities. And if you disagree, Google it. Pete Docter first started thinking about a sequel back in 2016, but Inside Out 2 wasn't officially announced until 2022. It hits theaters this weekend.